From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Israeli forces rescued 2 hostages early this morning in the southern Gaza Strip.
The Israeli military extracted the captives under fire in a dramatic raid after soldiers stormed a heavily guarded apartment. The Israeli military operation took place in densely populated Rafah, where heavy Israeli airstrikes also pounded the area near where the hostages were being held. The rescue of the 2 hostages was celebrated in Israel as a victory. The operation killed well over 60 Palestinians, including women and children, according to Palestinian health officials. I'm Karen Chamas.
Meanwhile, Egypt has threatened to suspend its peace treaty with Israel if Israeli forces enter the town of Rafah en masse.
Egypt is threatening to stop its peace treaty with Israel and says that a ground operation in Rafah could force the closure of its crossing, cutting off one of the only avenues for delivering essential supplies. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a recent statement that sending troops into Rafah was necessary to win the war against Hamas. This plan poses a threat to the long-standing peace agreement between Egypt and Israel. Egypt also fears that they would be unable to stop a tide of people fleeing into the Sinai Peninsula. Rafah, originally home to around 300,000 people, has taken in roughly 1.4 million more who have fled conflict in other areas, resulting in severe overcrowding. I'm Rika Ann Garcia.
Back home now, where prices are soaring and budgets are stretched, and consumers are turning to so-called imperfect food to help save on produce.
Anna Stajek launched Eat Impact in 2022 to reduce food waste and provide doorstep delivery of cheap fruits and vegetables. The food products on offer typically fall short of the retail sector's strict aesthetic standards, but are more than just edible. Drawing on 15 local farms and distributors, the business serves up tentacled carrots and slightly bruised apples to thousands of households in southern Ontario for $20 a box and hopes to double its business this year. Given the savings, waste awareness, and a bent towards regional organic goods, it's no surprise that many of the subscribers skew younger. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
The small Manitoba town of Carman is in mourning today as police continue an investigation into the deaths of 5 people, including 3 children. Mayor Brent Owen says the tight-knit community of about 3,000 is devastated to learn about the tragedies. RCMP say they're still trying to piece together what happened. 2 women were found dead at 2 separate locations, while the 3 children were pulled from a burning vehicle at a third. And finally, it appears there was not much interest in going to the movies this past weekend. The top film, Argylle, from director Matthew Vaughn, made just $6.5 million in its second weekend. That's according to studio estimates. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Kansas City Chiefs are repeat Super Bowl champions, beating the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in overtime. It was also the Chiefs' 3rd Super Bowl win in 5 years. Over onto the ice where Natalie Spooner, Emma Maltese each scored twice, and Renee Desbiens made 24 saves as Canada whipped the United States 6-1 in the decisive 7th game of the rivalry series. Marie-Philippe Poulin and Ashton Bell also scored for Canada, while Sarah Nurse added 3 assists. It's the 2nd straight rivalry series in which the U.S. won the first 3 games, only to see Canada win 4 straight. And finally, some sad news. Marathon world record holder Kelvin Kiptum, who was set to be a superstar of long-distance running, has been killed along with his coach in a car crash in his home country of Kenya. The 24-year-old had his world record run at the Chicago Marathon ratified by International Track Federation World Athletics just last week. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.